What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Paul with Liberty Hill Comics. Welcome to episode 76 of the Comic Book Conservators. I am not here with my regular host, co-host, and otherwise folks, but I'm excited. We got a great show for you. Pinch hitters, I have that are guessing, some of them at the last minute. And I don't know how Jason gets his beard looking that great with no warning. Like, you go live. This is how he is all the time.
That's right. That's right.
Very high quality product you put in there, Jason. The professor I knew was going to be here. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you with us. As you can see, Phil and Larry are both otherwise occupied today. Phil had something, I won't say it came up last minute. I think it did not go quite as he planned, and he needed some relief at the last minute. So Jason's jumped in for us in what I believe is going to be a super exciting show that I'm really excited. I mean, I don't know, maybe my energy will be infectious. I don't know if anybody else is interested, but I'm super interested in this topic. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And that is Bound Comics. Professor, how are you? Welcome. And let everybody know where they can find you, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Peter, Professor Peter. I have my own channel on YouTube, Experiments in Conservation. And I post about maybe twice a week. And recently I've been posting less because I've been really busy at work. And I've been sick, actually. I just got over the flu on Tuesday of this week. And I'm feeling much better, but my voice is still carries, right? So I don't sound the best.
No, you sound great.
But it's good to be with you and with Jason on the show. First time I meet Jason face to face.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is really awesome to be with Jason. I just watched your last video on your channel.
Oh,
like right before the show, and I commented. So it was great. It was
Thank
really
you.
Good to see you there. You always show your face and you talk. You're very engaging. I really enjoyed the topic a lot.
Thank you
for doing that. Yeah.
Well, you know, Professor, you and I'd probably have our faces on our videos a lot more if we had a beard like that.
It's a great beard. I love it.
Jason, how have you been? Welcome back to the channel, and tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm doing terrific. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm really blessed to be here, and great to meet you, Professor Peter, in person here, and of course you, Dr. Paul. Yeah, you can find me at Archivist Adrift, the YouTube channel itself. And I try to make videos. I try to get them out at least once a week. I might throw in like some non-conservation related content if I can't get a video out, but try to get something out there at least a little bit. And then I'll be in a live show, I think, tomorrow night on Mond Comics. They're doing a Halloween special, so you can catch me there tomorrow night as well.
Fun.
Yeah.
This is one of the things I love about the little community that we've built is that we've got plenty of super talented content creators that can jump into the show. Some of you, again, at like a moment's notice. And it's just awesome. I love it. Speaking of non-comic content, guys, this happened for me. We made happen, I guess I should say.
Oh, awesome.
This is our calendar.
Very cool.
So this is a calendar that we put together featuring my photography.
Wow.
That's all 12 months covered with birds. If you're a bird nerd, or if there's someone in your life who's a bird nerd and you think they would enjoy this is now available on Etsy. And I'm super excited about it. We're going to do this every year now.
Wow.
So there's some non-comic content. How about that?
That is very nice.
Very nice.
You guys are both on my Christmas list, so yours are coming.
All right. I'm down.
My wife loves birds.
Oh,
she has
perfect.
a birds app on her phone. She listens to them in the summertime, in the winter, and she tells you which bird is singing, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I know
Who's
very
visiting
well.
our backyard. She tells you like, oh, we have 4 birds and this sort of thing.
I know very,
great.
very well, Professor.
Yeah. You must. Yeah, we look at the pictures you took.
I'll do the third person. So Dr. Paul doesn't do anything like non-competitively or not like over the top crazy.
Yeah.
So for those of you that have seen the movie The Big Year, it's about competitive bird watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Awesome.
So I have like 4 dedicated apps on my phone, and we have a yard list of 137 species.
Wow. Didn't they just find a hybrid blue jay or cardinal?
That's true. It was actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was a hybrid of a green jay and a scrub jay. But
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, huh?
Yeah, that's neat.
All right, let's do some housekeeping. Speaking of Jason's one of the sponsors of this show. Thank you to You Pluck My Last Nerve, Collecting Chaos. I am Starman, and Jason, the Archivist Adrift. If you're watching this live, you're watching it ad-free thanks to those gentlemen, and they are all gentlemen. I happen to know that. It'd be great if some of them weren't, but they all are. And we're very inclusive here. And if you are watching it on replay, you got to watch ads. Sorry. That's just how we finance things here, so that we offset a few of our costs. Hello to AG, who says happy Halloween. Rom Space Knight, who says the same. Silver Spidey's here. Don Carter's here. The aforementioned You Pluck My Last Nervous here. Unbothered Kitty's here. Welcome, Kat. Looking forward to seeing you at Collector Summit. Serge is here. Sales Boy's here. Welcome. Serge says, I have a question. You get done doing your guys have to do. My question is, how do I get started doing my own bindery? Well, you've come to the right place. Aaron Conyers is here. Welcome. And there's some nice comments about my calendar. And okay. Like all time ever, it's got to be snowy owl. If you see one in person, honestly, I think it changes your life. It's crazy, because often when you see them, you end up seeing them pretty close up because you'll get like a surprise encounter. And as a young man growing up in Michigan, there were a couple times when I was face to face with a snowy owl, like, within 15 or 20 feet. And when they lock eyes with you, and then they, obviously they fly away at some point, they're so majestic, and it's crazy. So that's my favorite. I have a lot of birds that I really do enjoy. Here in Texas, I don't know. Certainly here in Central Texas, I don't believe in, I know my county, there's never been a snowy owl reported, but I do think in the northern part of the state, they might occasionally get them. I don't know. I'm not an expert in all things bird. The bird that I like to see here is the crested caracara. And it's a bird that used to be super rare, and you would only see it in the way south of the state occasionally. They're actually expanding northward, and we get to see them fairly regularly here in Central Texas. And in fact, there was one last year that ended up, I think, in like Minnesota. And it was like it migrated north, and it just kept going. It just never stopped.
Wow.
And so they called it the continuing caracara because a bunch of people kept seeing it. And also it continued to go north until it got all the way to Minnesota. But anyway, locally here, crested caracara, all time. Snowy owl. Thanks for the question, AG.
Well, snowy owls must be bird fans have to be pretty fanatical, because my brother, he must have spotted one of those owls near his house and mentioned it online, and people literally like drove to his house to see if they could find it in his tree line or something like that, and he eventually had to kind of like shoo them away and like, okay, but wow, it's something about owls. People.
Yeah, we had someone at Salem State take pictures of snowy owl over at Cat Cove here in Salem. And she was gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous, very close-up pictures.
You're fortunate in New England. You see them fairly regularly. I have a friend who's an amateur bird photographer in Rhode Island, and shout out. And, you know, he gets a couple a year, just kind of casually. It's without really like, you know, it's not like he's, if I hear of one, I jump in the car, I'm willing to drive 4 hours or anything like that, you know? But yeah, I think owls are so expressive and they're mysterious and everybody loves them. In case anybody who's not on my Christmas list wants a calendar, they're on Etsy. Just search Birds of Texas calendar. You will find it. Awesome. And you saw the cover with the vermilion flycatcher on it. Speaking of sponsors, Salesboy Comics is first in today with a super chat saying, "Keep it moist." You know we do here, Dylan. Vulu is here. Welcome. You plucked my last nerve, says y'all have Mexican eagles in Texas. This is a nickname for the crested car that I mentioned. So he's flexing his bird knowledge. All right. I think that's all of our housekeeping. Why don't we jump in? I had so much fun, you guys. So we came up with this idea. I came up with this idea and I roped the professor in. And as part of it, I said, I'll do a retrospective on some of the biggest bound collections to come to auction. And I had so much fun putting this together. Imagine if this was your shelf. So this is a bound collection of action, 1 through 12 in the first book, then 13 through 24 in the next one. Detective Volume 3, because this is the volume that starts with number 27 and goes to number 36.
Oh my God.
And then Detective Volume 4, which is numbers 37 through 48. And then here's a 3-volume set, bound Batman volumes 1, 2, and 3. I believe it's like numbers 1 through 50 approximately. Don't at me. But how crazy would this be if this was your shelf?
I mean,
and these are available like at a discount to the real comics. And some of these were bound like in the 60s or even earlier. I mean, in some way, this has kind of like 2 sets of provenance. I don't know. I'm fascinated by it. Yes. I knew that the professor was into this kind of stuff. And I knew, in fact, that he had bound some comics himself. Wow. In fact, let's do a little solo layout for the professor.
Sometimes labels are deceptive. This is Batman #1, but in reality, it's all like Silver and Bronze Age Batman, right?
Oh.
So.
Even so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is a nicely bound book. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool. All right.
I mean, I would have
show you some others later, but
I would give someone else the Robin comics, you know, so they can have the one that Robin can cover there. So
don't worry about it. We got some stuff just for you, Jason. We got stuff coming up. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all, as they say. Okay. So I did kind of a deep dive. Not that deep, though. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to tell everybody just what I did here. So I really decided there was so much material just on Heritage that I decided I wasn't going to search the entire internet. There was enough material for me to tell like super fun story just on Heritage. So I only looked at past auctions on Heritage. Funny enough, Heritage actually has a value guideline that they claim is based on past sales. And they said that an approximation of the value is you take all the issues in the bound copy, you assign a VG value to all of them, and then the bound copy should sell for approximately 50% of that VG value. Wow. They did note that it can be anywhere from 25 to 100%, depending obviously on the issues and how it's bound, the condition of the bound copy. One of the things I noticed, and we'll get into this a little bit, most of them are trimmed, but they're not all trimmed. So I would think that would affect the value if they're not trimmed. There might be people who think, oh, I can unbind this collection and conserve it, or even send it in universal. So I think that's part of the variability here. And obviously the big thing for condition, it's the same as it is with comics again. It's the covers. So when you look at Heritage past auctions, they have a lot of condition notes on the covers, and the ones that had really nice covers tended to sell for a bit more money. And I'm thinking in particular about one auction. I read all the auction notes, and in fact, I ended up, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Heritage has sometimes, for some items, you can actually watch the video of the live bidding when the thing came, like from their archives, which is fun.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
Anyway, I watched the archives of some of the live bidding for some of this, and there's, we'll talk about it later, but there's a bound collection where the big key books are in just unbelievable condition. Like you can imagine, some of these bound collections, all of the issues were collected as back issues, and they're in various states of wear and tear. Some of them were like file copies. They were collected, and they're literally pristine. They never even got distributed, right? Yeah. So that obviously affects the value as well. But anyway, it's interesting that that's a rule of thumb that Heritage puts out there. Thank you, Don Carter. We appreciate the super chat. And Gorilla Monkey 3K is in. Ben Stewart is in. And Rick Gomez is here. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to everybody. So without further ado, I'm going to do these in kind of like ascending order in terms of where the hammer dropped. But this one for me is the grail of all of them. So what's crazy about this particular bound collection, note it's volume 1 and volume 2 of All Star Comics, issues 1 through 12, and then 13 through 24. These were the personal bound copies of Gardner Fox.
Wow.
So Gardner Fox was the fellow who took over writing for All Star and ended up writing somewhere around 3/4 of the issues. Golden Age legend, considered one of the greatest writers of the Golden Age, obviously. This was the bound set that he had for personal reference, so that when he was writing, if he needed to refer back to a villain, if somebody was coming back, such as it was in terms of continuity in the Golden Age, this was his reference. I mean, this material was not available. The internet didn't exist. There weren't libraries with this stuff. So he had this 2-volume bound set of the first 24 issues of All Star to refer back to. I mean, look at the cover of number 8. These were basically probably file copies given to him by DC, and he had them bound for his personal use.
And they never see light, so they hold all that color. I mean, that's amazing.
Unreal. And he sold them to Jerry Bales. Jerry Bales is a super fan who was one of the co-founders of the comic book fandom. And if I'm not mistaken, he was with Roy Thomas, was one of the first people to do a fanzine. And Jerry Bales was like, All Star was his jam, which, Roy Thomas was All Star was his original jam as well. And this canceled check went along with this 2-volume set. It's a canceled check whereby Jerry Bales paid Gardner Fox $75 for this 2-volume set.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Man.
On February.
What year was that, Dr. Paul?
February 5th, 1959.
Okay.
Wow.
If I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
A couple years later, it sold for $33,600 with the buyer's premium over at Heritage. This is offered there. I don't know if it's a hard offer or if it just says make me an offer. Just over 50,000.
I mean, that sounds cheap. I mean,
I feel like
eight is owned by. That's wild.
This being, it's almost like a double pedigree. I mean, Jerry Bales, owning anything that Jerry Bales owned, I think is like you're walking in tall cotton. But Gardner Fox's personal copies, I mean,
one of a kind. Wow.
Yeah. So for me, we started here because I did the cutoff. I could have done the cutoff anywhere arbitrarily. And I went back far enough to capture this. There are some other really cool bound collections that came to auction long time ago and were not in the top. I don't remember how many I did, 7 or 8 here in terms of pricing. And one of them was MC Gaines file copies for All American, which include All American 16, of course, first. Green Lantern. That book is the pages or the comics were trimmed left and right before they were bound.
Yeah, that sucks.
And if I'm not mistaken, some of those bound like collections have actually been taken apart. Maybe our friend Kenny Sanderson has actually leaf casted some of that.
Oh wow.
To try to put those back into a slab at CGC. Obviously, a book like this is not slabbable, and they do sell at a pretty significant discount. I mean, this copy of All-Star 8 would sell for way more than $34,000, especially since this sold. This is pre-pandemic, but at any rate, I hope you guys enjoy that as much as I do. I mean,
that is amazing. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jason, you bought a volume of Golden Age books, right?
That's right.
Were trimmed.
Yeah.
And what happened to those?
I still have them. So I bound volume of for auction on eBay came up a bound volume of Wiz Comics or of Fawcett, a bound volume of Centaur, and a bound volume of Fox Feature Syndicate comics. I bid on the Centaur ones, but they ended up going, I think, for about $4,000. But I did end up getting the Fox Feature Syndicate books, which included a weird comics. Mystery Comics #1, Rex Dexter #1, U.S. Soldier #2. I mean, I think 11 books all in all.
Nice.
They were in rough condition. I was able to. So I unbound them, and they're currently sitting in my collection waiting for conservation. But I wanted to get my skills up before I started, tackling those.
You're doing really good, yeah.
Before we go into our next one here, welcome Rick Gomez. AG says, beside all the credit you have to do to bind the books, I bet the books, they do stay in really good condition. Reading and watching all of the heritage auctions on these, they commented on the page, the ink vibrancy, the page quality, the likes of which they had not seen, that there's just a tiny bit of oxidation. It's localized to the very, very edge that's browned, and that everything else is preserved in amazing.
That was the weird thing about my set, and I think Dr. Paul, you had talked about this when I showed them, was that my set was not in great condition. They looked super vibrant, but I think you had advised me at the time that go ahead and unbind them because they're going to need work because they'll just kind of fall apart.
Right.
But generally speaking, they do stay super vibrant. They look amazing, except for the fact that they're trimmed and they have glue on the spine and all that.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. Like generally, I wouldn't necessarily say that bound comics are auto unbind, candidates. But in your specific instance, they were low grade books to start with.
Right.
And then they were bound. And so, you're either talking about conserving them as a book or conserving them as comics. And it makes more sense financially, certainly, to conserve them as comics.
Sure.
Ben says, what happened in All-Star 8? Something wonderful. Ben, you are super insightful. In All-Star 8, Starman and Hourman both join the Justice Society.
Oh, is that who, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a fact.
TikTok Tyler, is that his Hourman's real name, I think?
Rex. Come on, man. Ben also says I would pay 75 left nuts. I'm not sure how exactly Gardner Fox would value 75 left nuts, but we appreciate that. What you mean is they're dear to you.
The left nuts of his enemies, of course.
Next up, and this one goes all the way back to 2008, and it's still like in the top 8 highest bound collections ever sold on Heritage, is Superman Volume 1. This was the years 1939 to 1941.
Wow.
I do not remember the exact number of issues here, but you can gauge it just by looking at the thickness of the spine there. I imagine 35,850. And again, Heritage was commenting on how bright and how amazing the condition of these covers specifically are.
In 2008 is when that went for sale. So I can't imagine what it would go for today.
In today's money, right?
Yeah.
It's a penny.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is awesome.
Oh, wow.
So this is another collection with provenance. This is basically EC's pre-code horror. It's basically the complete EC pre-code horror.
That's neat.
I think the only book that isn't, the only run that isn't complete, it's one of the, I read the whole, the auction description, and it was one of the like true crime type books they were doing. It does not have a full complete run here. The rest of EC's pre-code horror is here. And furthermore, these were the personal copies of Al Feldstein.
That's neat.
How bananas is that?
Yeah, that's great.
Like I could see the right collector just going nuts for this. I love the provenance of these. Most of these ones in this collection don't have known provenance, most in the top 8. But the two, the Gardner Fox and the Al Feldstein, just to be able to touch the same pages that these creators touched is, I think, overwhelming.
Yeah, so that would be the big selling point, because a lot of these, there's file copies for a lot of the EC books, right? So the big selling feature here would be the provenance, I imagine.
True. Well, there are a bunch of key books here. So it's like First Crypt Keeper, First, all of those characters that are recurring. All those firsts are in here. There's also some big covers in here. But yeah, absolutely. There's definitely super high grade copies available of these books.
Right.
Even though you need to mortgage a house to get one.
Right.
They're out there.
Yeah.
Here, this one I put in just for you.
All right.
This is what I call a Jason special. It's Pep Comics number 19 through 24, bound just for you. There's some great Irv Novick covers in this run. Obviously, the big key is right here, 22, with the first Archie Andrews.
He's in the pages, so it's not as bad. So
I don't know if everybody knows this. It's also the first appearance of Betty, and it's the first appearance of Jughead. But Veronica comes later.
Huh.
Yeah, if she comes at all. Is what I've heard.
Should've-
So it's a triple first appearance. And you also get, in addition to this great Nazi cover, I think you get at least 2 other Irv Novick Nazi covers. So, you know, there's no Archie covers in this volume, right? Also interesting, these particular comics were not trimmed.
That's wild.
So they're bound in, but not trimmed.
Wow.
Yeah. And funny enough, the number 20 was a double cover.
That's wild.
How crazy is that?
That is wild.
And they left it that way. Like whoever bound them was like, well, I guess this is the way it comes. And they didn't remove. I mean, you're doing all this other work and they didn't remove that extra cover. To me is amusing. But this one hammered in 2023 for over 43,000.
Yeah.
And well, it was in the top 8 here anyway, but I had to include it just for you.
Yeah.
Had it not been in the top 8, I would have included it anyway.
I appreciate that.
Isn't that great?
It's
not trimmed. So I think not trimmed helped this a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, in terms of what it hammered for.
Mm-hmm.
And also it had the big key and it had multiple big Irv Novick classic Nazi covers. So
right.
Next up, the height of the pandemic, we had this 3-volume set that I showcased in the thumbnail here. And this is Batman from 1940 all the way to the end of 1946. Wow. 6 years of Batman. Now, he started quarterly. I believe at some point it starts to go bi-monthly. Isn't that right, Professor?
I don't know.
Yeah. But his eponymous title started off quarterly. You'll note these are fairly aggressively trimmed. You can see there where, it should say spring issue in the upper right. The U is not complete and the E is complete.
Half the N. Yeah.
Yeah. Half the N in Batman. Thank you. Yeah.
Quite a bit of trimming they've done there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you can see this looks like it may have been kind of a back issue, right? It doesn't look like this was acquired specifically newsstand fresh to be bound.
Right.
It had it had been read and it was a reading copy prior to being bound, right? Nevertheless, think about all the first appearances in here, all the key covers, all the key adventures. It's a lot, right? I mean, not for nothing, right here you have first Joker, first Catwoman, right? So it's not surprising to me that, especially because you have 3 full volumes, this hammered for 66,000. Plus, this is a later auction. This is 2021 hammer. I didn't, I could have ranked these. I could have, adjusted the values for inflation and ranked them differently. I ended up, not bothering because I don't think that mattered. It doesn't matter that much. I mean, these are all huge collections, and there was nothing left out that I thought was earth-shaking other than MC Gaines' All-American, which sold a long time ago.
Would this be considered still COVID bubble period when this one?
I think so. Yeah. It's, market started to fall off in 22. This was, but not even at the very beginning of the year, as I recall.
Okay.
So I think this was definitely a sign of the times. Welcome, Phil. Glad to see your name. Vulu says that horror run is cool. Yeah, EC pre-code, man. Not to be outdone.
Wow. No Marvel chipping.
Spidey said, "Hold my beer." The chipping's all been trimmed away. That's I found this particular bound volume fascinating. The information is here. Why I found it fascinating. I do want to have a little discussion about it, but we'll see if any viewers catch it. So this sold in January of 2022 for 90 grand.
That's
And
amazing.
it is Amazing Fantasy 15. And then if I'm not mistaken, it's first 10 issues of ASM, I believe. And of course, you know, you got a lot of big first appearances there. You miss out on a few of them, like that's pre-Green Goblin, but you know, the greatest hits, the Vulture, the Sandman, Chameleon, who else is in there? I could have prepared a list and been better prepared. But
Doc Ock.
Doc Ock is in there, yeah. Anybody see what I found so fascinating about this bound volume? Any sharp-eyed viewers notice it?
Spider-Man by Steve Ditko, Volume 1.
Yeah. By Steve Ditko. Now, I know there are some folks out there who are huge Stan Lee haters and who think he contributed nothing and it was all Jack Kirby. I do not find those arguments convincing for a number of reasons. And I think most of the real historians who have looked at this and who have studied content from before and after and everything else and don't have a vested interest also don't put a lot of credence in that argument. It was a true collaboration. And I'm sure there are certain stories where one person collaborated more than another, just like there are in all collaborations. That said, I think that this is like, how angry do you have to be to go through the trouble and the cost of binding this and just to stiff Stan Lee from the author credit? I mean, that's next level stuff as far as I'm concerned. Look at this. Think about it. You had to make a concerted decision to stiff Stan Lee to leave him off the binding here. Thoughts?
Well, maybe Ditko bound the book. Maybe that's what it means. Yeah.
I don't think even he. Well, I know that that's not the case.
Okay.
For a number of reasons, he was not interested in his work or in being, you know, canonized.
Yeah.
So he would have never done this. And you know, he didn't. As far as I understood, he didn't like working with Stan, but didn't have any of that kind of angst for Stan.
Yeah.
I find this level of fanaticism wild. Like, I don't understand it. As a matter of fact, like the flip side of this is, to me, this is less desirable because someone went out of their way to stiff Stan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I was thinking about bidding on this, not that I'm in the market for this, but let's imagine that I was. I would be like, why do I want to? This is some weird kind of hate homage, you know?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre to me. I don't really.
Well, maybe if there's a good story that goes along with it, it might be worth that, you know.
Listen again. I get that there's all kinds of fandoms, and for some people, like this level of vitriol is part of their fandom. You know, have at it, folks. But it's not.
I'm more shocked by the sticker price on this and the much lower sticker price on the Golden Age volumes, because I get it, Spider-Man, you know, but I mean, come on, I mean, Wonder Woman's first appearance, I mean, I don't know.
Well, that one did hammer a long time ago.
Well, true.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But you know, Amazing Fantasy 15, you know, it's hammered for $1 million a few times, hasn't it? You have to admit, look at this cover.
I mean, yeah, that is nice.
And it's not super mega trimmed. You still have all of the stamp for the comics code.
Is that a miswrap on the left, or is that also a trim on that side?
On the left, that's where it's bound in.
Okay.
So that's literally, they opened the book as far as they could to get the best picture.
Okay.
That's the end page, right? They call it the end page that you're seeing there.
Oh, this one, some of them had separate end pages, actually, Professor.
Did they?
I didn't take pictures of all of them, so I couldn't say for sure whether or not this had separate end leaves, but some did. You know, obviously all of these are done by local bookbinders, and those men and women have different skill sets and put different energy into it, and then probably are, you know, charge different amounts. One of the things I thought was really cool was Gardner Fox's 2 volumes of All-Star don't match, right? Because if you took 12 issues down to a bookbinder, and then, you know, that was a quarterly publication and then went bi-monthly, but I think it was probably quarterly through the first 24 issues or close to it. So, you know, a dozen issues would take you another 3 years to put together. That bookbinder's gone, or he doesn't remember what he did last time, or he's out of business and you went to a different one, right? I just thought it was amazing that Gardner Fox's 2 volumes didn't match, basically.
That is neat.
Right?
The volumes, the volume I bought, all the volumes matched, and I was actually even able to find the binder himself. He's he retired in the 80s, early 80s in Dayton. And so I was trying to track back as much information as I could on it. But yeah, that is kind of strange that, different looking. I wonder if he went to different binders or if he bound them himself, or.
Well, you know, like I said, even if you just took it back to the same fella 3 years later and said, put a black binding on it, he might just say, oh, I've got this black cover in right now, or I've got this gilt font or whatever, and just does it, right?
Right.
Funny about binders, little side story for those of you that care. Mom, if you're still watching. So funny enough, at the University of Michigan, for you to get your PhD, there's a list of documents and things you have to do and documents that have to be on record. And you don't have to present them with a bound copy of your PhD for the library, but you do have to present them with a receipt from the bindery stating that you paid in full for at least 2 copies of your PhD. That receipt is the last item on a long checklist of things that you have to do before you earn a PhD from the University of Michigan. So we used to joke, because it was the last one, that it was the most important, like, you know, this is the last thing I have to do. Literally a receipt from the binder. And when I got my PhD, it was an old man, and he hand wrote the receipt, literally in an old receipt book. And some of my friends actually took that receipt and like framed it, because that was, you know, the last item you needed.
That's cool.
But I tell that little side story to indicate, like, this was very much, I mean, these are craftspeople, and this is very much a hands-on craft type job. And so even the same person would have output that varies from job to job. So, you know, I think that's one of the awesome things about bound.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely true. No 2 books I bound are the same, Dr. Paul. They all have different measurements, slightly off, and some are trimmed, some aren't trimmed, you know, depending how I did them, right? And these, you know, like I used to send my books to Herring and Robinson. They're out of business now, but every book they sent back was exactly the same. So you can attest to their skill at binding books, you know, and I really enjoyed dealing with them, and they were pretty cheap to send them books, you know, like $28 you could bound a book, you know.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Now you know, you need to spend at least, I would say, $50-$60 to do it.
Still, that doesn't sound that bad.
So if you can learn to do it yourself, do it yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Welcome, Commandant VHS. And Ben Stewart says, is there any value difference with whole size and number?
Oh, the whole size where they probably bind the books, where the string goes through, I imagine.
I imagine it's all part of the value in terms of these bound collections.
I imagine they're tighter. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I think the trimming is probably the thing that affects value the most, though.
Well, if it's less visible, I think on the cover, I think it's going to be because I have all my books, I think are. You can't really see the holes, but I have seen some bound books where you can a lot more apparent. Yeah,
that MC Gaines copy, it's like spiral bound, but inside It's kind of bizarre. For those of you that are interested, go check it out. Next up on our list is Tech 1 through 26. Volumes 1 and 2 of Detective Comics.
That's
No known provenance on these, but they're a lot of high grade copies here. Interestingly, these books are double trimmed. So again, the outside reading edge is trimmed, but also the folded part is also trimmed off before this was bound. So I think that does affect the value a bit. This hammered November of 2021 for over $100,000.
wow.
And those of you that don't know, pre-Batman Tech is a very difficult run. They're just so truly rare. There were very few copies that survived and that are known to exist. And pre-Batman Tech is actually not that chased in terms of like collectors. So demand is actually a little bit down and values are still high just because
Rarity.
supply is so low for these books. So what do you think? 6 figures.
That's amazing. Can you imagine coming across something like this in the wild? I mean, just be mind blowing. At
the library, like yard sale, or
something. Or antique bookstore or something like that. But no, that price looks right to me. I mean, I feel that's justified.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Tech
That
1
used to be the case, by the way, in the 80s. I
Tech
remember
1
walking into comic book stores and they had like things like that, on display.
Wow.
Forget how much they were asking for them. But you could go to Woolworth, I remember at the time, and buy like the Super Pack, DC Super Packs, including like Detective Comic 359, First Batwoman for 50 cents.
Oh yeah.
For 3 books. Yeah. Pounds still, still in the bag.
Yeah.
It's like crazy how things change.
Did you say First Batwoman?
First Batgirl. What did I say? Batwoman? Batgirl.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
I was confused. Yeah. So we're in big boy, big girl territory now.
Yeah.
Next up, the volume I showed on the cover. And here's what I'm talking about. And I'm not even sure I understand how this was done, Professor. I think it's still sewn like this, but somehow the pages are punched. So this appears to be spiral bound, like we're familiar with, like a wire or a plastic kind of spiral, but I don't believe that's the case. I actually think this is sewn, right, Professor? It's still thread, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of sewing they did here, because I do only like 6 punches, right? I do right through the spine, and that's how I do mine. But that's a lot of sewing there. They did.
But I think that's what it is. So it's not really what you think it is. When you look at this, you might remember your spiral bound notebooks from elementary school. It's not that, actually. So the pages are, I imagine they have some kind of machine that creates this uniform punch, but then they're hand sewn all together before the text block is locked in. And then, of course, they would be trimmed. So at any rate, here are the issues 27 through 36 in volume 3, and then 37 through 48 in volume 4. Again, the provenance of this collection is not known. Heritage hinted that this might have been MC Gaines.
Gaines file.
But they base that solely off of the All-American file collection was known to come from MC Gaines, and it was bound in this same fashion. So that might be a reach, because this might have been a way that these things were bound sort of on the fairly regular. I'm not sure. I'm certainly no expert in this, but it wouldn't be the first time Heritage didn't drop a hint that something might be something, even though they couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
to gin up interest.
Yeah.
But
Still amazing though.
yeah,
It's so classy looking too. It really elevates the whole form of these golden age comics and this bounded. I mean, it just looks gorgeous.
Yeah, the colors are amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
isn't that something?
it is something.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to me, and I think this is a testament to just how rare those early issues of Detective are, that this book here is worth the first 26 issues combined. And yet these two volumes only sold for just a little bit more than the volumes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it'd be $100,000 versus $107,000, whatever, surrounding error. If you're dealing with that 102 versus 107.
Yeah.
It's less than 5% more.
That's true.
To include, and not for nothing, but I mean, I personally would kick this one to the curb, but 38 is in here too. So First Robin is also in this collection, right?
Yeah.
So this one seems a relative bargain, but look at the date. This one sold November 2014.
Yeah.
This one here sold November 2021.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
makes a difference. Yeah.
that's why it only looks like it's 5% more.
Right.
Corrected for today's dollars, I'm sure this is a lot more than 5% more than volumes 1 and 2. Collecting Chaos, thank you so much. He says they look great. Yeah. Who wouldn't love to have one of these in their collection? Any of the stuff, any of the things we've shown.
Yes,
We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Part 2 of the show, our B segment, is going to be the professor actually showing us how he does bind comics. So stick around. But before we get to that, we have our big reveals of Action 1 through 12 and 13 through 24. So this is in addition to the big book, right? The book. This collection has, first Lex Luthor, the great classic covers, the cover that was used for one of our postage stamps recently, right? Like, a lot of the stuff is here. It's also not for nothing, there's other stuff going on. There's First Slam Bradley and other things like that, right? So interestingly enough, May 20th, 2010, this collection hammered for $143,400. And then a year later, May 5th, 2011, it hammered for $131,450. So interesting little backstory about this. The person who bought it for $143 had been working on a complete run of Action, like first 100 issues, I believe.
Well, he got
and
it here, huh?
They got excited because this got them there.
Wow.
And they were in a bidding war with somebody. They paid $143,000 and change plus tax and shipping. They don't include shipping for free, even when it's when it's 6 figures. But then, like many collectors, finished the collection and said, right, that was fun, and I'm off to do something else because it's about the hunt, not about the owning of the stuff, right?
Wow.
So right after basically this gentleman completed this collection, within 6 months of completing the collection, he called Heritage up and said, yeah, no, I'm over it. Put it back out there. And it actually hammered for $12,000 less than what he paid for it the previous year. Which happens.
I mean, I mean, it's not a major loss, right? 12 grand, right? For a year. But he owned it for a year. He enjoyed it, looked at it, and he's a collector. So
Wow.
you should know that when you sell your stuff early, sometimes you don't make the money you paid, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
and
that
when
happens.
you this is also the difference of when you have to have something versus when you're selling it to people that don't have to have it, right? Like this was a collector who was willing to pay because he was trying to finish a complete, run of action.
Yeah.
Loston, welcome. It's been a little while. Thank you so much for the super chat. Loston, as many of you know, is a professional artist. You should Google him for sure. He's done so many amazing things, and he's a kind of regularly joins us here. And we have one.
Austin is a great guy. Yeah.
Wonderful art. Wonderful art.
Great guy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I hope everybody enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun putting that together. I had a lot of fun doing the research for that. And, it's such a unique part of fandom. And every one of those bound collections is unique in the same way, I guess, that every comic is unique, right? They all have their own history. They might have fingerprints. They might have creases. They might have cosmic aeroplanes stamped on them. They all have their own provenance. But this is kind of next level for that, in my opinion. And I thought that we should bring some light to it. And
a lot of people don't know about bound comics. I mean, even people who've been into comics for a long time don't know about bound comics, and they're shocked when they hear about it. They're sometimes horrified. But I think especially those early bound comics, the ones that were bound in the 50s and 60s and maybe even the 70s, I really feel like there's something really magical about them. And I feel like almost like I wonder if there is a niche of collectors who only collect bound volumes, or if that's even a thing.
But
I'm not sure. It would be great to see if I don't know if Heritage could do it, obviously, but if there was some way of grading bound comics, how would you even do that? Would you do it by the book, or would you do it by the? I don't know. But
I think it's at the end of the day that comes back to it's all in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
So Ben has this question: what grades can these get? Universal versus conserved, trim versus untrim. Phil isn't here. Do your best. So the trimming is the biggest issue. So if you take any of these collections apart and you want to sub them to get graded as individual issues, they're going to come back restored if they've been trimmed. Now, not every bound volume has been trimmed. And in that instance, I do think you have Universal available to you, and you certainly have conservation available to you as well. The other thing that is a little bit of a loophole that I have seen, and this is next level stuff, but CGC will allow a trimmed interior to be leaf cast if the cover is complete. And inside the rules for conservation, marriage is allowed. So one avenue for the well-heeled collector who wants to put together a conserved copy of a book is to find a cover that is in need of an interior, to find a bound copy with the full interior but with a trimmed cover, and then to leaf cast the bound interior out to the dimensions of the intact cover, and then sub it for conserved. So I think I covered all the bases there. In that instance, you then have an extra trimmed cover, which for a big book would not be without value itself. So you can recoup some of your value there. So
I have two copies of Rex Dexter. One's from that bound edition. One is missing a centerfold. So I may leaf cast one of the centerfolds that were trimmed, and then just add it to the one that's missing the centerfold. Marry it.
Yeah. Gorilla Monkey 3K, thank you so much for the super chat. Man, so much generosity here.
Thank you,
We must
guys.
be doing something right. Really appreciate you. Collecting Chaos says rate them all as a book in terms of like grade them as a book, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Book collectors do have different standards, and
Hmm.
but yeah, that seems reasonable. Lawson says people collect for so many different reasons. The hunt is certainly part of why I collect, but I love reading, studying, and appreciating the art. I've seen bound volume of amazing stories. Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
would be.
there's
Pulp?
I think there was some on eBay for a little bit. Amazing stories pulps. Yeah,
Yeah,
bound like that. Hmm.
yeah, that would be amazing. Help us out
Yeah.
here, Dylan.
Yeah, Jason, you collect those, right?
Yeah, to some degree. Not too seriously, but
Not
yeah,
too
a little bit.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I've seen them in your collection.
Yeah. Hmm.
May I show this Hulk?
Please.
This is Hulk 179 through 196. So you know what that means. 180, 181, and 182 are in it, right?
The first appearance of Wendigo.
The first appearance of Wendigo, and of course Wolverine is 180, 181. Here's 180, and they're not trimmed, and they're near mint. When you look at them, they really are near mint. I mean, it's too bad they're bound, but you can read them, you can enjoy them. And here's 181.
Professor,
I got this from Neat Stuff Collectibles on eBay, and I just stripped it, showing it to you guys. That's all right. Here's the Hulk 181. The one I just ripped. Yeah. That's one reason actually why they trim them, because when you trim them, you don't rip them as much.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And that's 182 right here, so
yeah. Wow.
Herb Trimpe. So this one I got 10 years ago from Neat Stuff Collectible on eBay, and I paid $800 for this.
To me, that seems like a bargain.
Yeah,
I think it's a bargain. I really think it's a bargain. Yeah. So some things you want to hold on to, you don't want to let go a year later or even 10 years later.
Yeah, I mean, you said too bad they're bound, but I don't know. I love them. I love that collection the way
I love them this way. Yeah.
Especially the way you acquired it, right?
Yeah.
Professor Peter, didn't you have some bound comics when you were younger as well? Didn't you have those forums?
Yeah, I used to read all my comics. My dad always took them to the bindery, and he bound them for us. So I have some that I had to rebound. This is in Arabic, right?
That is
Mickey
awesome.
Mouse.
That is so
and
cool.
I bounded the cover myself, right?
Oh,
so I did rebinding on it, but it was falling apart. But you can see it is Mickey.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And then the very first book I actually bound was this one here. It's just a bunch of comics inside. It's just the cover is weird, right? It just says Ultimate Avengers. But inside is just a bunch of comics, you could read and enjoy. And this is the very first one I bound, on my own. And this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago now.
Wow.
But now I regularly bind books, every so often I feel like binding a bunch of them to read them, and I'll do it, either, new books or Archie books, something cheap, I don't really bind anything expensive anymore. Yeah, but like this is
speaking of, we have a whole how-to, right?
We have a whole how-to I can show you.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's jump into it. So I got a message from Dr. Paul on Saturday yesterday asking me to prepare something about bookbinding, and I had no pictures to show you guys how I do it. So I ended up spending a good part of the day yesterday working on binding a bunch of Archie books, Pep Comics, as a matter of fact.
Archie, that's
from the Bronze Age. Yeah,
there are Peps just for you, Jason. You were fated to be here.
Yeah. So if you go to the next slide, Dr. Paul, I'll show you how I did that. So comic book binding is a craft that allows you to create your own unique volumes for reading and enjoying. It's a great way to express your creativity. The value, of course, is diminished once you bind them, because now you're adding glue when you're stitching the spine area, and the books are going to be glued together, and it's going to be very difficult to restore them or to conserve them after that.
Archie books can only go up if you're binding them. I feel.
Archie certainly is. Archie is definitely goes up.
The exception of the rule.
I've sold Archie on eBay for like $30. Things aren't worth even $5, just because they were bound. People like to read them. I can tell you.
All right.
So among the many traditional binding methods that creates hardcover books, case binding is what I use basically to bind my books, and it's basically using stitches. I use PVA glue and put them together essentially, and then put a hardcover and present them, right? So the work involves measuring, gluing, cutting, and sewing. Organization is key. For this project, I designate 2 workspaces, one for cutting, sewing, and gluing, and the other one for drying and pressing. So you need to separate your, office quite well when you do it, because it's kind of messy business, right? When you do it. So this is the toolkit I use, and I have a couple of slides of this, and you can see them there. You need bookbinding thread from the right here. You can see it, and this is linen. And you may want to use wax or no wax. It's up to you. I don't use wax basically. And then large eye binding needle. Some people like the curved ones. I use the straight ones. I'm used to the straight one. You need an awl to make the holes into the spine. You need rulers, large and small, and you need the rulers to be quite large, so they're and steady also, so they don't slide when you do the cutting. Pencils and erasers, cutting mat, of course, and glue brushes. These are special glue brushes that binders use typically to apply the glue. So I have a bunch of them, and they're cheap enough. You can replace them for like $1 each. They're not very expensive. And you can now get actually silicone brushes. And I had them, but I couldn't find them for the show, so I didn't put them on the slide. You also need single edge razor blades for cutting paper, and of course the wax I mentioned already. All right, next slide, Dr. Paul.
All right, but I'm just going to pause for
ahead.
a moment of levity. Literally no one commented on the title that I picked for the show yet.
Oh, the William Marston. Yeah, I mentally was like, oh my god.
Is that too like inside baseball even for this crew?
No.
I mean, I thought someone would get it.
So of course, Wonder Woman was written by William Marston, who loved his bondage. Let's put it that way, I guess.
I think it was true.
He bound Wonder Woman often, didn't he?
I think it was true that his women liked the bondage.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was consensual.
And Dr. Paul and Jason, he took inspiration from his wife. So I wonder for the character. So I wonder what went on in the bedroom there.
His
wife, not saying nothing.
And his mistress, by the way.
And his mistress. Yeah, there you go. So the other things you need, of course, the comic books, typically between 8 and 20 issues will make a nice volume. Optimally 20, I would say, no more than that. And then you need archival quality PVA glue. I have a picture of it here on the right-hand side. That's the one I use. You need the mull. Mull is used to reinforce the spine when you build the spine. You need cover material, bookbinding cloth, of course. Something custom printed even can do. Like this is just a canvas that I can use as a book cover, right?
Nice.
And otherwise, you can just canvas you paint yourself, or you can even use anything you create yourself, hardcovers, leather. This is leather. Or you can use fake leather like I did in the project today. I used the fake leather, right? So you can use that.
That's pleather.
You need you need book boards. These are chipboards that you can buy from Amazon or Michael's stores, those kind of stores. And they're about 3 millimeters thick, right? And you use them for the cover. And then these are very hardy, right? The ones I buy are very hardy. There are the ones that you can buy that are very soft. You don't want those. You want the hardy stuff, right? And you need parchment paper to prevent sticking during the book assembly. So clearly something like that. And book press. Book press, if you don't have a book press, you can use 10-pound weights and plywood for pressing. So I start off by putting the books in order, so you can see them there on the top right. I had the Pep comics all in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever their numbers are, and then staples are removed, and the books are organized from lowest to highest, and they stacked, and then I give them quick press. Also, it's a good idea to give them a press, right? Before you bind them. Yeah,
sure.
So I did that before we started. Yeah.
Wow.
Next. Yeah. And then other things for the toolkit, you need spacers. These are tools to create the hardcover case. You need to leave a space between the chipboard and the spine. So these help you do that, usually about 1 centimeters between the chipboard and the spine. And it gives you even cover at the end, right? So that's part of the tool that you can create yourself. You can cut them yourself, measure them yourself. You don't need to buy them, although you can buy them on Amazon. I mean, they're available also. I don't bother, right? I just do my own.
Sure.
You need clamps, right? I use these clamps, right? And then you need waste sheets and scrap paper for the glue. You need moisture barriers. Moisture barriers, you can use acetate films, or you can use parchment paper. You need hinge rods. These hinge rods, like the ones on the right-hand side, will help you form nice grooves in the joints of the book. So these joints that you can see here, I'm not sure if you can see them, are made with the hinge rods. And then you need sandpaper for smoothing out rough edges in case the guillotine malfunctions, as it did in my case. When I made this volume on Saturday, and I pressed it this evening, actually, it was in the press all day today. I looked at it, and the guillotine had done a bad job cutting this, and I had to go in with sandpaper and just sand it a little bit to get it even, right? So you need fine sandpaper for that. All right, and so that's the other tools we need. And the procedure is basically remove the staples, organize the book in order, and then use a punching guide. And the punching guide I have has in it 6 different punches that you make at like 2 centimeters and 6 centimeters, and then 11 and so on, and then the reverse on the other side, right? So you have 3 and 3, and then you need an awl to create the holes for sewing, right? The sewing itself, I use the French link stitch method to sew the signatures together. So in comics books, every wrap is a signature technically, but here I'm considering every book as a signature on its own. Right?
Do they call them text blocks in some forms?
Yeah. So you can see there the French link in the picture, how it's made.
That's beautiful.
So there's a kettle link on the left, and then the French link in the middle there. You can see them. So after sewing, and it takes time to sew these things, right? There is a certain procedure you have to follow, which I didn't really show here in the slides. But you can find how to do French link sewing on YouTube, and you can watch the videos and on your own. It's not a big deal, right? And then the first one you do, you're going to mess it up, I guarantee you. So just take care of it.
So use some Pep comics.
That's right. There you go.
Pep comics, yeah, exactly. And but eventually, slowly but surely, end up doing this beautiful job, doing the French link sewing,
It really is beautiful.
And French link, it gives you this pattern that creates flexible and strong chain-like structure. So it gives stability to the book and flexibility at the same time.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then after you do that, you sew it, and then you apply the glue twice, and with drying in between. And the PVA glue, PVA glue is what I use, but you can also use a combination of PVA and methyl cellulose if you'd like. You can mix them together, right? All right, next slide, Dr. Paul. So then you allow it to dry. So I have clamps here and making sure that clamps are evenly applied, on the left and the front and the middle. And then I leave it drying for a few hours. And then after that, you have basically the book block. It just needs at this point the end paper. So the end paper I buy is heavyweight end paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
That isn't going to dissolve when you apply PVA glue to it. Some of the stuff you buy on Amazon, you have to be careful. It doesn't really suit books like that. So you need a heavyweight paper, maybe 160 GSM at least, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then
so
you
it's
need it
it's
like
basically
11 by
hard
17.
stock.
It's like hard stock, yeah.
But it says here craft paper. And does that mean it's not?
Mr. Penn calls them craft paper, but they're 60 pounds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Craft
so
paper
okay,
usually
yeah.
is not sized.
Not the best, right? Yeah.
Is that not sized?
It doesn't say size or not sized.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't want to off track you. Sorry.
Yeah. I can look at it later and let you know. But I like this, and it does work for me at least, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so 11 by 17 the sheets as I buy is what you need to buy. And the next, go ahead.
Before we move on, this is actually an interesting place to talk about bookbinding presses versus copy presses, right? And this is something we've talked about it in our hobby a little bit. And many people are under the impression that the presses that we use are bookbinding presses. Those presses, the copy presses, obviously the big difference is, the maximum opening might only be like this, just a few inches, because they're only intended to put a few sheets in, clamp it down to make a copy, and then so full throw on it is only inches, right? A bookbinding press is actually for the process here, not exactly what you're showing here, but if you were to trim these text blocks as one so that they all matched, you did not trim them here, but this would be the point at which you did it, and you would use an actual binding press, an actual bookbinder's press to hold all of the paper tight. And then trim that edge with
use the guillotine.
Either a guillotine or even a
razor blade.
I'm actually thinking like a planer type, like a woodworker. I've seen people use as well.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
So here's my guillotine. I bought a Vivor guillotine because it was cheap. And actually, at first it worked fine, but now it's not working as intended. So something's wrong with it, So I've used it for about a year so far, right? So with this last project, it didn't cut well as I expected. But when you trim your books, this is where you're ruining them, really, technically, right? But it's a tradition in the bookbinding business. Because it's for aesthetics, for reading aesthetics, and for eye appeal. That's why they do it. So you can also use a sharp blade and a ruler to trim the edges manually, which is a pain, or use a guillotine and do the cutting.
That's actually where I've seen you can do it with a razor blade in a press, where if you use two ends like wood or something, and you press it together, you can actually come with a razor blade and just go like this, just slide gently and do, you're cutting 6 or 10 pages at a time, but you just keep going, and then they're all perfect because that press has pressed those pages together so tightly that they're like wood at that point, right?
Exactly. And then you can use sandpaper at the end to even everything out after you do that. And that works really beautifully also, it's time consuming, of course. Guillotine takes 2 seconds, and you're done pretty much. And then what I do, I put the mole on, applied. That gives the reinforcement to the spine. And I put the end bands, the head and the tail bands on. And those you could make yourself, or you could just buy them. I buy them, right? I buy a whole lot of them for cheap, and I just cut them so that they're they're nice and short and at the tip end of the spine. And that's called a kettle stitch, by the way, what you see there on the left, on the right-hand side.
Very cool.
Okay.
People in the chat are going on about
Malibu
what they would use to practice to me. Everybody's version of the least
what are they saying?
collectible.
What are they saying?
11 copies of Turok,
90s Valiants, Malibu.
Yeah.
DC Impact books.
Definitely. Yeah. Those kind of books are fine. Yeah.
There's plenty of that material in the dollar bins.
Yeah.
Quarter bins. Some places still have.
Make it rare.
Yeah. So to make the bookcase, essentially what I do is I now start measuring everything. I cut the spine to size, and I put the spacer between it and the chipboards. Everything is cut and lined up nicely. And then I use tape to tape them all together to examine them and to give it a run before I glue everything, right? So you have to do that part first before you start gluing. And if you look at the next slide, Dr. Paul, you can see the book block here. I'm holding it with how it's going to look like afterwards. And I'm looking at it to see if I'm going to be satisfied with it or not when I do it. If I'm not satisfied with it, it needs further cutting, I'll do the cutting at this point, right?
Awesome.
And yeah, and then sometimes you cut the spine. The spine has to be, chipboard has to be the same width plus a little bit to equal the width of the spine itself, right? So sometimes that goes wrong and it doesn't give you good alignment for the book at the end. So you have to pay attention to these things, right? So I do a test fit for the covers to ensure good fit before applying the book cloth. Then once I do that, now I can apply the glue to the chipboards and to the spine and attach it to the cloth, right?
That's
so the next,
awesome.
Yeah. So now I'm ready so these got attached now to the cloth, and the cloth I'm using essentially is a fake leather. And I trim the book cloth so that I have a 1.9 inches on each side, exactly 1.9, sorry, not inches, centimeters on each side. And cut the cloth corners at 45-degree angle and leave small space there for the chipboard thickness, right? So you cut it, but not exactly to the chipboard. You leave a little space in it.
Sure.
And then you start applying the glue in the middle picture to the cloth upper and lower turn-ins. They call them turn-ins because they turn into the chipboard when you glue them. And you fold them into smoothly with a bone folder, right? And so a bone folder help you. You can use that one I'm using there, which I like, or you can use this bone folder, whichever you feel like using is fine.
Sure.
And that really helps you form a nice tight junction. And the thing about PVA, it dries very quickly, which is nice. So initially, when you're pressing down, nothing is sticking. But after using the bone folder, a minute later, you start seeing everything sticking nice, right? And you start making the hinges at the same time. So you use the back of the bone folder to form the hinges between the chipboard and the spine.
Do you have room to adjust right before you start pressing it down, or is it?
Yeah, you adjust it. Yeah.
Okay.
And if something is off, sorry, go ahead.
That's actually where mixing methyl cellulose at a smaller percentage is sometimes works to your advantage because it has a little bit more slip than PVA, right? And that's actually the reason why sometimes you do a 70-30 mix with methyl cellulose at 30%, because it gives you just a little bit more slip until it sets.
Right. You have like maybe a minute with PVA alone. You have to change things, to take the board out and redo it. But with Dr. Paul said, with methyl cellulose, you have longer period now.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just use PVA in this demonstration, so no methyl cellulose. All right, next slide, Dr. Paul. And now you apply the glue to the end papers, and you attach the book block to the hardcover case. And this, of course, takes patience to do sometimes. What I don't show here how I do it, which is tricky, but you have to lay the back of the cover on a piece of tape or something that is stable, and then lift the end paper and just glue it on specifically so it matches with the corners, right? Sometimes it doesn't match too well, and then you close it over parchment paper, and this way it doesn't stick.
Okay.
And then you stick it in the press, and before you stick it in the press, you could add the hinge rods to form the spine better. And then you give it a good pressing, overnight pressing, right?
Wow.
And then, yeah. And actually, I take it out after an hour just to examine it quickly to make sure everything is going fine. Then I put it back in, right?
Boston says this just looks like a lot of work.
So it took me all day yesterday and good part of the day to finish this book, right? And then I had to do the PowerPoint presentation on top of it. So literally, I didn't finish till like 4 o'clock.
To be clear, I did not ask him to do that. I just said, could you talk about and show us some of your stuff? And, you know,
yeah. And
there's a reason
I can still show you some of my stuff. You know, I still have them here, you know, next to me. So I show you how they turned out at the end. I show you how this one turned out too.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
So,
this looks like a real book, right? I mean,
that's
created this in a day, essentially. Is
in a day, it's
incredible.
Totally yeah. So this is how the book looks like now.
Wow.
You can see the hinges were formed and the spine looks nice and tight.
That's amazing.
And the next one, Dr. Paul, and you can see how the book looks like as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, right?
That's awesome.
It really is.
So here it is.
It really is. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Holding it. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's pretty stable. You can hold it. You can shake it if you want. You can read it. Right? It's fun. It's Archie.
I love this.
Like to read Archie.
I love this.
Yeah.
I would read this one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So just 8 issues. I could have done 10, but I didn't have another 2 of Pep, so I just did the 8.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And I've done other Archies, and this is another one I've done a long time ago.
Oh, cool.
Where I use a picture from an Archie book that is incomplete and I cut it and put it in the window here in the cover.
Now, have you done any embossing on these at all, or any of the books?
I haven't. I mean, I tried labeling like this.
Oh, that's cool.
Essentially,
Okay.
but
that's cool.
It doesn't come out that great. This is a Christmas album from Archie, right? So that's nice. Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
So it's all Christmas issues. So I like to read it around Christmas time, of course. You know.
Yeah.
Coming down. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you can create if you didn't have the opportunity to buy an omnibus or something like that, where like they just didn't.
These were the first.
Yeah.
These were the first trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
Right.
And some I trimmed, some I didn't trim, and that's the technology goes back to the 17th century, right? The 1600s.
Yeah.
A guy by the name from Germany. Now his name's Johann. What's his last name? Rist. Johann Rist is the first who came up with the idea of binding his magazines together, and ever since this took off,
Wow.
I mean, those were your first books, and you could do like design, like this is a canvas. The book cover is a canvas, and you could do designs like this on your own.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Speaking of, when I was going through Heritage archives, there was a bound copy of the first. I don't remember if it was the first year or the first 10 issues of Playboy.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
That was up there. It was just outside the window of the ones I showed you. Vulu says, "What can't you do, Professor?"
Right.
Loston says the professor is the reason why we can't find any Archie back.
I buy them all. Yeah. Even, I can do a lot of things. This is Silver Age Classics.
Yeah.
I bound them also to read, and they're cheap enough to purchase. You could buy them for like $20 on eBay and put them into a volume like this for reading, and you can read the first appearance of this guy and
That's
that guy,
Martian
and
Manhunter there.
Martian Manhunter, and
I know they did. Yeah, they did.
Supergirl, and
Yeah. They did
all of them are in here.
First Hal, Jordan. They did a
Yeah.
lot of issues in this series.
Yeah, and they're well printed and beautiful graphics. I thought, you know, even
Yeah.
Will stay preserved for, you know,
yeah,
50 years, 100 years. When people
Yeah.
think that Archie is worth something, they'll
Yeah.
start. You know, these will be the big ones, right?
yeah,
I had seen that when I was getting into bound books. I had seen that there was actually a couple that used to go to a convention with the, and they would bind books at the convention, like, you know, right there. So
Oh
Yeah.
people
wow!
are doing this. It looks like, you know. I mean, it's amazing.
People
Yeah.
are doing this.
Yeah, well, you know, again, when I talk to people about it, they seem shocked that, like, you do what to your like, that's a thing people have done, and I'm like, yeah,
Just
apparently-
with your cadence, I thought you were going to say people are still having sex.
well, they're doing that too, I'm
You know
sure.
what?
After the binding
Uh,
or during the binding, I don't
What
know.
else do I have to show you guys? This is Action Comics from Herring and Robinson. They did the binding for me years ago, right? And this was a beautiful job they do, right? And they have you do want a trend or not trend, and you just give them the options, and they do a great job.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the machines to do it, right? They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
doing anything by hand, really, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're no longer in business, unfortunately. So I do my own binding. And this is also Herring and Robinson, Crypt of Shadows.
Oh wow!
Bronze Age.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had to collect all these first, right? You got to hunt them down. So this is like next
what I
level.
did.
You have to hunt them all down and then have them bound.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had to have them first, and then think I'd like to read them, but I want to read them one at a time. And then I think to myself, let me put them into a bound volume, and I send them in, you know.
That's awesome.
And that was years ago. I haven't done it in a while, so now I do my own, you know. And it's doable. I mean, if you guys just like have the time to do it, just
they look
write
incredible.
out, you know.
I love that you did it yourself. In fact, you know, in terms of the lettering on the spine, doing like gilt, you know, gold inlay letters is actually not that difficult, right?
It's not difficult. Yeah, it can
so
be done.
You can really class these up. I mean, obviously, I asked the professor yesterday, and he put this thing, but you know, given just a little bit more time and the right materials, you can really class these up and make them look really professional.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the beautiful work that you did by having just something on the spine would take it to that level where it looks really professional, you know?
Yeah. Like this kind of lettering, you know, when they do it in that.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yeah,
would be
that's why I
nice.
bring it up. Yeah.
Like, no, it's doable. It's just I don't have a printer at home. There's a way of using your DeskJet printer to print those things and then apply them. But I don't have a DeskJet printer at home. I don't have space for it actually here. But I was thinking about getting one, you know, those HP tank, super tank, whatever you call them. So, but I have a laser printer at work, but laser printers don't do the same thing.
Right.
You know, we don't get the same colors. Yeah.
Well, that was amazing. We've gone a full 90 minutes, and I think we packed a lot in our 90 minutes. Diecast Comics just showed up for first time here in the live show.
Yeah.
Welcome. Good to see everybody. Yeah. I hope people enjoyed this. It's a little bit off the beaten path. It's definitely conservation adjacent. There's a lot of interest in and crossover here with the skills that we have. It's outside, I think, kind of main comic fandom a bit, but I find it fascinating. I like personally things that have like provenance with them, right? That's why I kind of like pedigree books and other things that have provenance. So I think having a bound copy definitely adds another level of provenance to your comic books. And I don't know, personally, I just think it's totally awesome.
I do too.
I'm into bound copies. Before we had digital, that was, I think, the best way to really enjoy comics. The original Marvel Masterworks, like the first, I think it was 25 or 27 issues, something like that, of Marvel Masterworks were done in that style where they were the original material, reprinted in a really high quality bound, collection.
Yeah.
And I have chased the original, those of you that know, I chased the original 27 Marvel Masterworks. And, now of course I have access to them digitally, but before we had access to them digitally, that was by far the best way to enjoy these without, burdening yourself and your family with, oh, nobody can eat around me and nobody can this, and I'm handling a comic right now. I can't do anything else. I have to be fully focused on this because I've got my full run of Tales of Suspense out or whatever. Being able to enjoy those bound volumes to me is wonderful.
Yeah. May I suggest also Fantasy Masterpieces, because they have reprints of.
Oh yeah. Let's put you in solo for this.
Yeah. So I have volumes issues 1 through 11 bound.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
This is some of the first reprints of any of
Marvel early
of the big Marvel Silver Age keys and Marvel Age keys were reprinted here first, right?
So I work on this one myself. I bound them all together, but they're not high end copies. So
these
I got them at the time for $45, and I bound them together.
That's amazing. Yeah, a lot of these were actually the Golden Age stories.
Yeah,
the timely stories, right?
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and then that volume that is now for sale on eBay that will end tonight with Tales of Suspense number 39, right?
Yeah.
And that is up to $5,300, Dr. Paul.
Oh wow!
It's up to $5,600, but
56. Wow!
Nobody go bid on it because I'm thinking about bidding on it.
A bunch of people bidding on it already,
and
I'm interested in seeing how high it'll go eventually.
Yeah, that's kind of the spark that inspired us to do this episode. Is I came across this Tales of Suspense 39 through 48, 10 issues. Bunch of, obviously first Iron Man, but you've got first Pepper Potts, first Happy, and, beautiful copies. And it ends in 20 minutes or something.
Something like that, yeah.
You'll have no time to get to it.
I'm not too worried about it. I use a sniper. Everybody should use a sniper. Anyway, with that, let's wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me, Professor and Jason, especially at the last minute. Larry and Phil are just fine. They just had stuff to do. And I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody has a great Halloween this Friday. And in like 2 weeks, we're going to see some of you at the Collector Summit. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat. Thank you for sponsors of this show. They are, again, You Pluck My Last Nerve, Collecting Chaos, Starman, and Jason, the Archivist Adrift. And next show's sponsors, we have 5. Salesboy Comics, Don Carter, Collecting Chaos, Lost in Wallace, and Gorilla Monkey 3K. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the folks that joined us live, folks who are going to watch this in replay, and for the first-time viewers. If you enjoyed the show, please give us the thumbs up, like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And until next time, take care of one another.
Bye.
Bye.